In this video, I will go over the Got It questions from section 4-3. Now remember to pull out a different color pen and correct your Got It questions. In number 1, it asks which two triangles are congruent by ASA. Okay, now remember that the side is in between the two angles, just like the S is in between the two A's. Okay, and in this one, the side is in between the two angles. Okay, in this one, it's not in between the two angles. And in this one, it is in between the two angles. Okay, and again, it goes angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. Okay, and so these are the two triangles that are congruent by ASA. Now, I'm going to write a congruent statement. Triangle OGH is congruent to triangle, now the order must be the same, TCA. In number 2, we're asked to write a proof. Okay, now again, you have to be able to do proofs in this chapter. So we start with our given. Angle CAB is congruent to angle DAE. BA is congruent to EA. And angle B and angle E are right angles. And the reason is, it's given. Okay, now looking at this picture, are we going to use angle side angle or angle angle side? Okay, and the answer is angle side angle because the side is in between the two angles. Okay, now we have almost everything we need. The only thing we're missing is that B and E are congruent to each other. So angle B is congruent to angle E. And the reason for that is that they're both right angles. Okay, and so they're congruent. Okay, so number 3, I would next say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle AED, and the reason is angle side angle postulate. All right, next one. Another proof, we're given that angle S and Q are congruent, and RP bisects angle SRQ. So that's my first statement. And my reason is it's given. Now, before I move on and think about how to go about proving this, I want to first understand my given. Okay, what does it mean for RP to bisect angle SRQ? Okay, bisect means to cut in half. So if it bisects SRQ, that means that angle SRP is congruent to angle QRP. Okay, by the definition of angle bisector. Okay, so I know that this is congruent to this. Okay, now looking at this picture, am I going to use angle side angle or angle angle side? Okay, in both I have two angles. I need to know which side is congruent to the corresponding one in the other triangle. And the answer would be this one, okay, by the reflexive property. Now keep that in mind. Whenever you have two triangles that touch each other, then you will almost always use that common piece using the reflexive property. So PR is congruent to PR, and the reason is the reflexive property. Okay, now I have everything that I need, and I will say that triangle SRP is congruent to triangle QRP, and the reason is the the angle side theorem. Okay, last one. Are triangle PAR and triangle SIR congruent? Explain. Okay, well, looking at this picture, the first thing that I see are the vertical angles. Okay, so this must be congruent to this because they're vertical angles. Okay, and the next thing that I look at is kind of the ordering of the angles and the sides. Um, and by angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side, they must be congruent. So the answer is yes. By the angle, angle, side theorem. Okay. Whenever you're asked to explain, you will frequently give a theorem in your explanation, and that's the end of the got it questions for this section.